a video on this octopus that I bought in the supermarket. So it's a frozen octopus. I saw it. I was rooting through the freezer section for a vegetarian option, and I came across and I was like, oh, frozen octopus. And I've eaten octopus, but I've never cooked it, which is probably kind of quite surprising, since I'm a chef. But there's loads of foods, and there's that I've never cooked, so probably not that surprising. So let's open it up and let's have a look. I've defrosted it. I'm going to do my own thing with it. I was looking through the cupboards as well, and I bought this ages ago, which is like a Greek pasta. So we'll use that as well when we eventually cooked it. So it says, and I remember this, that we have to dip the octopus in the cooking liquid 3 times just to kind of acclimatise it, to kind of get it used to the temperature of the liquid. So we're going to do that, and then it says it's going to be ready in 20 minutes. I don't believe that. So we're going to certainly be cooking for a lot longer. Now what I am going to be cooking it in is I'm going to cook it. I've got the juice that came out of some frozen prawns, as the prawns defrosted. There is a juice, so I've got that juice, and also the octopus was in an ice jacket, so there was the defrosted liquid of the octopus has gone in there as well. I've tasted it; it's kind of quite nice. So I think that'd be kind of quite nice to cook it in. I'm not going to season it. I don't think. And then these are the tomato trimmings from before Christmas, and that were frozen. I didn't want to waste them, but I wasn't going to use them. So I kind of thought, what we'll do is we'll freeze them, and then we'll use them at a later date. Now, what happens when you freeze tomatoes is the water wants to come out of them, which is a really good way of making a tomato consomme, if you're interested. So, but there's a few seeds in there, but you get that lovely clear liquid which tastes, wow, it's amazing. So we're going to put that in as well. There might be a few lettuce leaves that goes in there as well. I was in a bit of a rush when I put it in the freezer, but that's going to go in as well. So it's a little bit sharp. That's going to go in, and that's what we're going to cook our octopus in. We probably need more liquid actually. Now, if I didn't have these things, I'd be using stock, not just water. I'd be using stock, because I want to use the cooking juice to cook the dish that I'm going to finish off with. You could just squeeze. No, it's not just kind of. Why did tomatoes take a long time to defrost? Just take as much liquid out of that as possible. Bring that back up to temperature, and then we'll dip this octopus in 3 times, and then slowly braise it. It says 20 minutes. I don't think so. I don't think that's going to be tender in 20 minutes. I think that's going to take a good couple of hours. I'm going to do any prep with it. I don't think the beak's been removed, but we can do that later. So turn it up a little bit. Clean my hands again now to a bit. I think it's just that chef thing of always wanting to touch food. Oh yeah, so is there any other instructions on this? Using your reading glasses. I got my my eyes tested. It says in and out of boiling water for 3 times. And cook for 20 minutes. Remove from the heat, allowed to start for 10. And then remove from the water and serving. Ensure food is piping hot. Cook throughout before service. Do not reheat. Yeah, we're not going to pay attention to that. I think that's when they say don't reheat things. I've never really believed it. I think it's just a case of what they're wanting to do is they're trying to cut down on people who don't know too much about food, stopping them from poisoning themselves. But if you know a lot about food and getting it to the right temperature, you're not going to, just because you cook something and then cool it down and then reheat it again, doesn't automatically make it that it's going to become poisonous. You know, there are some bacteria that will survive a reheating process, and that's kind of quite dangerous. So what I remember from my college, it was real dangerous with reheating rice, and it's because it highly likely that you'll get these Bacillus cereus, I think is the what we call it, is the food poisoning that you get. But anyway, so how does that taste? That tastes really nice. That's going to make a lovely dish. So it's almost coming up to boil. Don't think we should have washed it. The juices look kind of quite clear. So we dip in and then pull out. You can see a lettuce leaf there. It's not going to make a difference. And then back in and pull out. It feels like it's toughened up already. And then back in. That's really firmed up, is that? And out. Yeah, it's toughened up amazingly, kind of quite quickly. And then in and slow poach. Probably needs a bit more liquid, but it'll be fine. The top part of it, the steam. Use my hands. Dry my hands. Low. I don't know. It wants to come up to the boil, and then I did have a lid. And a slow simmer. So we'll check it in 20 minutes, but I don't think that's going to be ready in 20 minutes. It's not going to be ready in 20 minutes. Turn it over after 20 minutes. Let's do. No, it wants to be. That's a nice colour though, isn't it? It wants to be like that. Like that. Be fine. We might just cut that bit off. Yeah, let's cut that bit off. Put that down there, and then it's underneath the water. And it should relax and it'll go underneath the water. I'm sure it will. But if it doesn't, what we'll do is just cut some tentacles off. Anyway, up to boil, extremely slow simmer, and we're back in 20 minutes. Alright, so, a quick tip. Your problem is when you're washing things that have had fish on them, that if you use hot water, it cooks the fish, and then the smell impregnates what you've had the fish on. It's better to rinse things that have had fish on them in cold water first, give them a wash in cold water, which will remove as much of the fish and the fish smell as possible, doing it that way, and then rewash again in hot soapy water, and then that will be then completely clean and remove of all fish. But anyway, that's just a little tip. Right, right, so it's had 20 minutes, and it's tender, but not as, just quite as tender as I would have liked. So I'm going to give that another 20 minutes, and what I am going to do is it's just poking out the water, so I'm going to chop it up anyway, so I'm just going to use the scissors to cut it in two, and then it, lots of smaller bits, and then it can be completely submerged in the cooking liquid. Let's taste the cooking liquid while we're here. Make a little bit more wash up. It's got a lovely rose colour. That's lovely and sweet, is that? That's lovely and sweet. So that's going to make a really nice dish of that. So we'll give that another 20 minutes on a slow simmer, and then we'll see what it's like after that. But I think I'm going to, when it's tender, we'll let it cool down in the liquid gently. There's a tendency when you pull things out of a liquid that the that they dry out because the moisture in them wants to evaporate out of them. So, which is a bad thing if you're. It's just on the back of the stove. No, it must be on a smaller one on the front actually. So, evaporation of liquids when it's cooling down is a bad thing in meats and fish. You kind of don't want that. You're losing moisture. But in potatoes, that's a good thing. So when you cook potatoes, you parboil them, and then you take them out of the cooking liquid, and then allow them to cool down on a tray or a rack. The evaporation of excess liquid is a good thing, and then you get a dry potato. So not always a bad thing, but certainly with meats and things that you want it to, if possible, to allow to cool down in the cooking liquid, and then you don't lose moisture. Right, it's certainly had another 20 minutes, probably even longer. Now, I think that's going to be super tender now. It's certainly shrunk a lot. So, yeah, that's a lot tender. That's wanting to fall to bits, which is exactly what I want. Yeah, that's much better as that. That's much better as that. Mind you, still not super tender. Where's my scissors? Let's give it a taste. Let's give it a see how tender it is first. Nice and white on the inside. Not lovely and tender as that. Well, we'll let that cool down, and then what I've got here is some vegetables. So I'm going to cook those down to form the basis of the rice dish. I'm going to cook them down a lot so they're nice and soft. I kind of want this to be maybe like a rice. Well, it's not a rice dish because that's pasta. But I suppose we could use rice. But I want it to be really soft and silky smooth type of thing. So I suppose we could have done a paella, or a pilaf or something like that. But I just want everything to be nice and soft. I don't kind of want any amazing different kind of textures or anything like that. I just want it to be nice and like a nice soft dinner. And we'll use that cooking liquid to kind of get that as lovely as that. The problem is I'll end up freezing that cooking liquid because there'll be too much cooking liquid, and then we'll end up having to do something else with it. But cook those down so they're nice and soft and on a gentle heat, and then we'll combine the pasta and some of the liquid, and then we'll throw the octopus in last minute. I do have some chorizo. But no, don't need a chorizo because I'm putting some chili in and some ginger, so we don't need that. We don't need that chorizo. We'll just use the octopus. Right. So, if we wanted to speed up the process of now, I said leave it in the liquid as it cools down, so we don't kind of lose any moisture out of it. But we can, if you wanted to speed up that process, we could put that pan in a pan of cold water. So that pan in a pan of cold water, and that would diffuse the heat, and that would cool it down quicker. If you wanted to kind of do that, and you wouldn't lose any kind of moisture. It's not the slow process of it cooling down that keeps the moisture in. It's it being in a liquid as it cools which keeps the moisture in. It's just a case of we can speed that process up if we want, and it won't become dry. But anyway, so that's that. We're back a bit later. So vegetables are nice and soft. I put a little bit of fat in as well. So let's put all of that in. How much is it? 500 grams? Yeah, 500 grams. If it makes too much, I think it'd be nice for breakfast in the morning. So that out of the way. I'm going to treat it like rice, even though it's pasta. So a little bit of fat will coat the grains, and then we will add the hot stock on the pan at the back. We don't have to do it just like risotto. We can start it off with a fair old amount of stock in, because it's certainly going to absorb all that. And then just keep that moving around. Gently cook. It said 20 minutes, so see how it goes. Actually, it's already starting to go milky, which means that that's the starch coming out of the pasta. Now, let's have a look at this octopus. That's cool. So, let's get a tentacle and let's give it a try. Let's eat. So, the outside's been dyed, and then we're left with that lovely white on the inside. We'll probably lose when we reheat it. That's lovely, is that? That's lovely. I think this is going to be delicious. So, we'll carry on gently cooking that, and I'll chop that up, and then we'll just stir it through last minute, just to heat it. And I think rather than just cooking it in salted water, I think cooking it in some kind of stock was a good idea. So, in all honesty, I probably would have used chicken stock, like a few chicken stock cubes, if I hadn't have got that prawn juice and the water from the tomatoes. If I hadn't have got that, I would just use some chicken stock or some fish stock, but not made it extremely fishy. I find fish stock cubes can be overly pungent, so I would use chicken stock, because I think it's kind of like a warming kind of flavour. It's chicken stock anyway. So you can see what I'm doing. I'll have those in last minute. Keep on cooking that while I'm doing some other jobs in the kitchen. Doesn't need moving around too much, I don't think, but it should be fine. I can turn the temperature up a little bit. There we go. We'll be back when it's cooked, or when it goes wrong. Right, it's cooked, and I have just stirred back through the octopus, just to heat it back through. Don't want to cook it anymore. Now let's give it a taste, and then we'll put it in a bowl, and we'll take a picture. Just the pasta first, but it's acted just like rice. That's lovely. That's lovely. And then with the octopus. That's delicious, is that? Well, if you like seafood and you like octopus, that's delicious. Not the best colour in the world. Not the best colour in the world. And I'm not tempted to put any cheese in it. But you could do if you wanted. But that's lovely, is that? That's delicious.